afternoon, beloved TIs. I apologize for my delay, but hi, I'm Melissa Miller with the Chosen Heroes. And just know that even though there's technical difficulties, I never give up. So here I am finally, after a system reboot and a couple of tries, I'm finally here. So we've got a great episode on ways to raise your vibration, and I hope that you enjoy the content. Let me go ahead and start out by sharing my screen. And let's see. All right, we're ready to roll now. Okay, here we go. We're going to start out first with, I guess my technical difficulties is continuing on here. There we go. All right, we're going to get this. All right. So first and foremost, let's start out with targeted justice so we can review. The annual review has been uploaded to Targeted Justice's Substack today. So that was the meeting with the officers. So please check that out. And thank you all for your continued prayers for Lynn Burr. He has miraculously come back from his torture today. And do not miss out on his wonderful Christmas message that he posted on Substack today. And a reminder to write Honorable Pam Bondi, Vice President J.D. Vance, and others that were listed on Targeted Justice's Want to Shut Down the Program Part 2. That is also featured on Substack. There is a link, a URL listed here. Also, please send your letters to the Space Force telling them you're a real human and not associated with terrorism. None of us are. See Anna Toledo's sample letter published in her Substack. And remember, it's really important to keep to the templates that are used because we want to deliver a unified, message of solidarity amongst our community and be precise. And this will help deliver that unity message from us all. If you would like to volunteer for Targeted Justice, please send an email to tjustice2@proton.me and just write in the subject line volunteer and how you would like to assist and continue spreading awareness. We are walking billboards for Targeted Justice and getting that message out that these programs exist, and consider, if you can, purchasing maybe some merchandise. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into today's presentation, which is ways to raise your vibration. And so why is it important to raise your vibration? These covert targeted programs, they thrive on your isolation, your pain and suffering, your loss of self-worth and hopelessness. They're so predatory, and these emotions are influenced by these frequencies that they use in their covert attacks on us. So you have the power to shift these frequencies being used against you, using them as a catalyst to your own inner healing journey. And that's exactly what they don't want. So in any regards to what they are doing against us, I choose the opposite because I'm not going to give them the win. So you can counterattack these low frequencies by it's your choice to raise your personal vibration and to be open to receiving that inner healing, because you have to have that openness. So raising your vibration can lead to a sense of inner peace and deeper connection with yourself and God and the universe. And in this presentation, you will learn ways to raise your vibration. So let's start out with the universal law of vibration. And the law of vibration states that we can attract anything we want by resonating at the same vibrational frequency of our desires. And vibrational frequency is defined as the rate at which our atoms, so that would be our electrons, protons, and neutrons, are oscillating within our cells. Atoms are the building blocks for all matter. Therefore, they create our physical reality. Our bodies, like all matter, are made up of 99.99% of empty space. Empty space. So, what are you choosing to fill your space and body with each day? Something to really think about. And we'll get into the ways that you can explore. So each day you can choose to fill your thoughts and body with good as a countermeasure for what is being done against you. Very important. So let's talk about what it is that lowers our vibration. So you need to think of your vibration, and your heart is the center of the core of it. And you need to know that your heart and your brain as well are radiating out waves of vibration and frequency. So we know, as being targeted people, that they lock into our brain frequency, because just like a thumbprint, each one of our frequencies is unique. And then that's how they latch into us, right? So, and then they use the frequencies to manipulate against us too, because they want us to stay suppressed and in that fight or flight mode, and they want to terrorize us with everything that has traumatized us in our life and steal our information and use it against us. Again, all of this is low vibration stuff. So we got to counter it. So let's just go over the list of what is low vibration. What's feeding low vibration? Anger. That's a huge one. That's why I put it number one. It is number one. Anger is the fuel and the gasoline to the low vibration. Okay. It is like a rocket amongst low vibration. Fear is right up there with it. And I mean, of course, these programs target us in on anger and fear so much, and then causes stress. That's the number one. And we know that stress is a silent killer and a degradation to our whole organism of our body and our health. So resentment is another, disappointment, and unmet expectations. How many times do you catch yourself expecting, someone or something to be at that same level and cognizant level of what you are, and you get disappointed because those expectations weren't met? So a good thing to remember is you've got to release some of your expectations to create space, for the positive to come in. Excessive complaining, it's easy to kind of fall into that pit. And guilt, of course, shame, gossip, negativity, how you speak to yourself, how you think, your thoughts that are negative, how you respond to people being negative. Toxic people is definitely one, along with a toxic environment. And that could be your living situation. It could be where you work. It just could be, environmental is very important as well in terms of fueling low vibration. Poor diet, making unhealthy choices like unhealthy food, excessive alcohol, anything to numb the pain and attacks that you're going through, drugs, gambling, all of those type of addictions. Of course, pain itself is a low vibration. And when we focus in on it, all we're doing is making more of it and creating more lower vibration. And then, of course, lack of sleep, which this happens when being attacked. So some of these things we'll get in today will kind of assist you with, mitigating and navigating through some of these challenges that are against our free will. And some of them are our own choosing that we participate in. So what we need to focus on is the ones that are the low vibration that we're creating ourselves, so that we can shift and bring in the positive and the higher vibrations and frequencies. So I'm going to start off with ways to raise your vibration. Number one is purify your thoughts and words. This is biblical. Like, thoughts can be a blessing or they can be a curse and death, right? And so are your words. It's very powerful. Your thoughts are just as powerful as your words that you've spoken. So we want to speak life and light over our life and our body. And we want our thoughts to be healing and not destructive. And you want to speak or think and manifest and attract and materialize into your reality with positivity, not attracting like a magnet, more negative, more pain, more suffering. So just make sure that you're choosing those thoughts and words carefully, and keep your thoughts and words out of your past and focus on the now. Don't be like Job's wife and look behind and turn to ash when she was warned not to look behind at what was being left behind. You got to keep yourself focused right now on the now. And cancel out any complaints with gratitude. Complaining, it's easy, especially at this time of year. Everybody seems to be stressed and overwhelmed by the holidays and the planning and the festivities and getting from point A to point B. It's easy to shift and not be patient. And right now is really the critical time to just remain centered and calm. So, ways to raise your vibration. Number 2, prayer and meditation. So prayer and meditation really does create a positive mental and emotional state through focused intention, gratitude, and connecting with a higher power, God and universe. And it leads us to the feelings of peace, hope, and love, thereby elevating our overall energy frequency. It releases those feel-good chemicals in our brain, and it creates a deep state of focus, which allows us to connect with our inner self. And connecting to a higher power and a universal energy provides a sense of purpose and meaning. So number 3, this is, I've recently, with my research, have come to understand just how important the vagus nerve system is. It is the biggest nerve. It's the hub of all of your nerves. So when these frequencies from these attacks are attacking our nervous system and causing us pain and whatnot, then you have to know how to stimulate the vagus nervous system in order to bring yourself into relaxation and relief from the pain and the suffering. So some exercises that you can do to stimulate your vagus nerve, which carries the signal between your brain, your heart, and your digestive system. So consider your gut to be the second brain. And they all, your brain and your gut have a connection to your heart as well. So you can understand by having this lower vibrations attacking this vagal nervous system, how everything can just in your body just fall apart to this energy, this low vibration. So by stimulating the vagal nervous system, then you can promote the relaxation by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And the health benefits is improving your heart health, enhanced digestion, reducing inflammation, which is critical to overstimulation from the frequencies and the pain that some of us receive, and the mood regulation is another big one. So how can you stimulate that vagus nervous system? Breath work, deep breaths. And always when you're inhaling, just remember that you are inhaling the light at the crown of your head, which is coming in and disintegrating and annihilating that negative and the low vibration. And then you want to take take in that deep breath and slowly release it out. And knowing that when you are releasing your breath out, you are expelling that low vibration and that negativity. Singing, very therapeutic. You don't have to be, a rock star, singer, anything like that. But just singing along to something very uplifting, mood uplifting music, and humming and chanting. This really calms your system and allows that negativity to dissipate in that low vibration, and it's replacing it with positive. Exercising helps stimulate your vagus nerve system. Meditation, of course, and prayer. Yoga. I highly recommend sonomic yoga because what it does, it's very easy positions and techniques with the sonomic yoga that are all about releasing the stress and promoting calmness and alleviating the tension in your body. You can look on YouTube. There's some really good videos that are short. And you don't have to spend a lot of time doing them, but doing them, daily or every other day, it really does make a big difference. And I personally have found great benefit from it. And of course, the high vibrational music, which we'll get into a little bit more about the music and the sound healing, because that is another way to raise your vibration. Positive affirmations. One of the best things you can do for yourself to, number one, alleviate that if you have V2K, the negativity from that, and also the negative vibrations and frequencies being used on you. So positive affirmations are statements that help you overcome negative thoughts and assist you in boosting self-esteem and reducing stress and improving mental resilience and enhancing your self-compassion and improving your performance. And if you would like more information, I recently did an episode on positive affirmations, and it was episode 4. So you can look on X or Rumble or YouTube as well and find the episode for more information, along with some good examples of positive affirmations based off of healing and trauma and stress. So I have one here. This is going to be the example of a positive affirmation, and it's very powerful. So I am one with my higher self. I am one with my inner child. I embrace and love all parts of who I am. I am releasing all that is not for my highest good. I am becoming the best version of myself. I trust God and the universe is moving all obstacles out of my way. This is something that I proclaim often for myself over my own body and my life. I find it does have measurable results. So you always want to connect with your higher self, because what your higher self is, it is detached from you're saying to your ego to move out of the way, that you are proclaiming that you are in touch with your higher self, and you're leaving all judgment, mindsets, and programs and such behind, because you're intentionally communicating and connecting with your higher self. Now, where you can get into a lower vibration too is when the ego is driving the bus. So you want to disconnect from the ego. And you can always, and I always start out with saying I'm one with my higher self, especially right before meditation and prayer. So you're just asking the ego to step aside. The inner child is very important, and it's overlooked and somewhat neglected sometimes, because we as adults, as we get older and we have more responsibilities, we just kind of get further and further away from that inner child. And what the inner child helps us do is just remember when you were a child and you didn't have all of these things to worry about, and bills and all of the things that life brings and such. And you just had this innocence about you, and the way that you viewed the world, and the things that you loved to do that made you happy, and they may have been the simplest things. So you definitely want to make sure that you connect with your inner child and allow space for your inner child to have that playfulness and that innocenceness. Even though that we're under these attacks, you still have to make space for your inner child. And embracing all the parts of who you are, these are what is in your subconscious that you may reject. These are parts of yourself that you may reject. So you don't want to reject them, because they've gotten you to where you are right now. A lot of these rejected parts of ourselves is where the tenacity and the strength of who we are comes from. And yes, there may be some unpleasantness to it, but we have to still honor all parts of who we are, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I wanted to focus on those three: the higher self, the inner child, and all parts, because to me, when you are connecting and affirming those right before prayer, right before manifest, because prayers are a manifestation, you're co-creating with God and the universe. So by doing those three, you are setting the stage and making and amplifying your meditation and your prayer by just simply and totally connecting to all parts of who you are, and your inner child and your higher self. So you notice that I put those three first, and then here we go. And also the releasing of the things that are no longer for our highest good, because we've got to create space for that manifestation and the co-creation with God, and then lead into action on our part, because co-creation with Spirit and God means you've got to take action too. So you've got to take the action to becoming the very best version of yourself by putting action into place. And you don't have to change the world in one day. Just step your foot into the water to get the motion started. And then finally bringing in that you trust God and the universe to respond by your action and what you're putting forth, by removing those obstacles and creating that space for you to be that miracle magnet and to attract the new into your life. So one of my favorites is music and sound healing. I'm such an audio person. I just love the brilliance and the therapeutic abilities of music. So I wanted to share some of this with you today. So music and sound has a very powerful influence over your emotional state by penetrating your energy field. So you have to know that that vibration and those tones and the sounds and the singing and all of that, they all have that vibration. They have the immediate ability to shift your mindset from one emotion to another. They are gateways, so powerful. And the songs and the sounds and the tones, they can, like I said, just immediately eradicate that lower vibration and put it into a higher frequency. So I asked you to do this for yourself. Try creating a playlist of all your go-to feel-good songs that are inspirational and uplifting and inspiring and motivating and bringing you happiness and comfort and joy and peace in the moment, and just put them all together. And when you're going through the storm, you're under like an attack that is really aggressive, just shift into your playlist. And I promise you, it really does help. So, and it is so important by using the sound, it can eradicate negativity in an environment and a space within your body too. So remember that. So the solfeggio frequencies, and think of, like, in biblical terms, numbers. Numbers mentions lots about frequencies and such too. So these solfeggio frequencies, they are in hertz, and each one of these frequencies can help in different areas. So 174 hertz, and then you can combine these two to amplify. And YouTube has lots on the solfeggio frequencies that you can look for, that music is programmed at these frequencies. So try them out. So 174 helps with pain, stress, concentration, security, relaxation, pain in the lower back, feet, and legs. 285 hertz restores tissue and DNA and the immune system, balancing your energy, feelings of security and safety. 396 eliminates guilt, subconscious fears, negative beliefs, and grief. 417, healing trauma, clearing negative energy from your body and space, clearing negative thought patterns and behaviors, inspiring restful sleep. 528 is the love and miracle frequency. So cortisol reduction, that's those stress hormones that really impact your gut and digestive system too. This lifts up your mood, stimulates your imagination, intention, and intuition. 639 is harmony, relationships, promoting comprehension and communication and tolerance. 741, intellectual work, problem solving, creativity, self-expression, mental clarity. 852, replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, relieving nervousness and anxiety. 963 is activating your pineal gland, which is awakening your consciousness and intuition, positive energy, and clarity. So this is all just by tones, and there's so much out there on YouTube in terms of these. And you may experience them as you're listening to your favorite songs and not know that these frequencies were behind some of what resonated with you, because everybody is different in terms of tones and frequencies. One person may hear one song and not have the same feeling and impact as another person. But it's really about finding those songs and those tones and frequencies that really speak to you. And when you do find them, you will feel something in your body and you will feel emotions. So then you know that you've tapped into what you need at that particular moment. Number 6 is limiting toxic exposure. Because with the programs, we are already subjected to it against our free will. So again, taking action on what we can do to limit the toxic exposure. So water, because so much of our body is water. So we want to make sure that we drink purified or alkaline water if you have the ability to do so. What I do with my own water is I pray over it and I program it and I speak over it, saying that I am programming it to the frequencies that I need for the healing of my body and to help with the attacks that are non-organic. I program it to raise my vibration to the universal love and God frequency, and for restoration and peace in my body. So you can program your water, because water, there's so much out there about how frequencies impact water. And if you are speaking or praying over your water with these frequencies, it's going to hold the frequencies. So I will program it, and I've got jars of it in my refrigerator, and I will just bring it on out, and that's what I do. And you've got to do what you can to raise your vibration, and why not pray over your water? It's very, very important. Eating healthy. This is a big one, because when we're under stress and attack, sometimes we just want to slip into our comfort stuff and maybe make some poor choices there. But I will tell you this, in the new year, I will have an episode on ways that you can raise your vibration in your body by just eating and making some small changes. In some terms, you've got to let go of the things that are, partnering with stress and bringing your body down. So look for a future episode on that. Eating healthy is always good. You got to limit your EMF exposure as best as you can in your sleeping area. So unplug, leave the cell phone, go analog with your alarm. Just don't have any Wi-Fi, Bluetooth stuff around your sleeping area. You've got to mitigate this EMF exposure, knowing that they use cell towers and satellites to do the harassment. So limit it. Ground yourself. Either go outside. You've got to discharge these energies some way that are being used against you by putting your bare feet in the ground for about 10 minutes or so a day will help. Or you can invest in a grounding mat or a grounding sheet. They make like panel sheets, and then they make also full bottom sheet grounding. I have that, and I use it, and I found that it helps me. Surround yourself with positive people. I can't speak enough on how important it is to limit your exposure to negative Nellies. Okay, so I've had to make that choice, albeit it was difficult, because you care and you have love for some people, but they're not necessarily the best for you and your healing. And so sometimes you just need to let that go, and you'll be surprised about how much more at peace. So one thing that you need to ask yourself is, when you're around somebody, do you feel drained or depleted or stressed, and like they've emotionally dumped on you and you're the listener and it's not an equal exchange? Then that might be someone that you need to reduce time with, and they need to take a leave of absence from your life. If your home or workplace is overwhelming, it's very important that you take time and take a break. Get outside, exercise, walk, run, ride your bike, skateboard, roller skate, whatever you can do to disconnect from it. Even though you might not be able to change it, per se, but you need to take some time and a moment for yourself to disconnect from it and center and ground yourself by stepping away from it. Number 7, get in touch with your creative side. So journaling, writing, arts and crafts, dancing, singing, playing a musical instrument, coloring. They have adult coloring books and stuff. It's just, it allows you to just focus on something that is good. And the creativeness of who we are, again, this all speaks to some inner child as well, is you're getting in touch with you and you're choosing you over the lower vibration and external negativity. Puzzles are really good. Cognitive improving games, something that challenges your memory and retention. And again, you're building and strengthening your cognitive abilities. And creating a vision board is something that you can creatively do by using newspapers or magazines, printouts, and just building your vision, for the upcoming year, and having that as a reminder daily to yourself of how important and you are worth it, and to help you manifest that vision board into reality. Number 8, essential oils. You'll be very surprised to know how much power and frequency are in these oils. So I listed some of the top, okay? So they can be diffused in the air. They can be mixed with a carrier oil and applied to your skin. By putting the essential oils on pressure points on the body, it is very, very effective. The moment that it touches your skin, it is raising your vibration. Rose oil. I have a nightly routine of rose oil, frankincense, lavender, and peppermint. And I also do some other things as well, but rose oil is the absolute highest frequency that you can get. 320 megahertz. Yes, that's right, megahertz. It has the ability of calming the mind, easing stress and tension, and it vibrates with the universal love, unconditional love. That meta universe frequency, that connection to the divine and the holy. So putting it like on your pressure points, and I always do my heart as well as my forehead and at my ears and such. Frankincense has an ability, 147 megahertz. It's, less than half than frankincense. So pain relief, wound healing, antibacterial, aging benefits. It's used in many spiritual rituals and practices. It's holiness and righteousness. Bible is full of references with frankincense and burnt offerings, frankincense. Lavender is 118 megahertz. It reduces inflammation and lessens pain and has a calming, relaxing effect. It helps with sleep and anxiety. And it represents spiritually love, healing, innocence, and protection from bad and damaging energies. Sandalwood, 98 megahertz. Skin irritation, mood, digestive disorders, calming, protective, spiritual cleansing, warding off negativity, balancing energy centers in the body and grounding. Peppermint, good for headaches. It's that mentholated-ness of it. So you can even dab a little bit under your nose and it will help open up your lungs. So let's say you're kind of in an anxious, moment and your chest feels really restricted. You can dab a little bit of peppermint under your nose and up on your forehead, like behind the ear as well, and the neck. and it just really opens things up, and you can breathe deeper. It helps if you have a cold, as well, putting some on your chest, underneath your nose. I dab a little there, and it works really well. Joint pain, digestive, peppermint tea is always good for digestion. It's very calming and soothing. Reduce pain, improve mental function and performance. It kind of energizes you. It's really awesome, and it reduces stress. So for head pain, which I know a lot of us, have that frequently, what I do is a combination of lavender and peppermint along the pressure points and in the forehead and the neck and behind the neck and the shoulders. And that really does help soothe. Basil has ability of inflammation, swelling, helping with that and opening the channels of abundance and good things to flow into your life, and purity and love and health. So you can see with these oils, and a lot of these are mentioned in the Bible as well, that there is a medicinal or a physical component to them along with the spiritual. So I find that to be really awesome and cool. So I know early on when I was looking for ways to relieve some of the stress from the attacks, that these oils really have helped me, and I've continued to use them throughout the years. Number 9, energy healing. It's a really big thing. Finding what resonates with you is ultimately what you want to look for. Chi exercises, or also known as Tai Chi or Qigong, it promotes opening and balancing your energy centers, as well as moving out of stagnant energy, because we don't want to stay in a constant state of stagnation and non-growth, because that is where these energies latch in. You want to continuously be renewing and open and making movement. Reiki is an Eastern technique that uses energy force as well, the chi, to reduce stress and anxiety and encouraging healing. It is this method it uses gentle touch and placement of the hands in different energy centers. There's some symbolism also with Reiki as well that is used, and it really does help it's a very gentle energy, and it does help improve imbalance within the body. With anything, practice and consistency is key. Emotional freedom technique, where Reiki uses hands. Emotional freedom technique uses the hands too, but it is tapping. So you use it for physical and emotional distress. It's also known as psychological acupressure to create balance in your energy system. So you are forcing those energy centers to open up because they're paying attention to the touch. And you can refer to my last episode of The Chosen Heroes, which focused on a more in-depth discussion and demonstration of the technique that you use for energy healing using the emotional freedom technique. So, congratulations. You are now equipped to start practicing some of these techniques mentioned in the episode to raise your vibration. So, I ask that you start out the new year right and begin focusing on some of these, try out some of these new techniques to raise your vibration, and make a conscious effort that 2025, I am raising my vibration, and I'm going to create space for the miracles and the things that I deserve to come to me. And I'm going to release and let go what no longer serves me. And the actions that I do, I'm going to release them, and I am going to take action and replace them with positive actions. This is very important to start your inner healing journey, because these attacks are so destroying of your self-worth and your identity. So you have to reclaim your power. If you feed into these lower vibrations by choosing to focus on the suffering, choosing to eat unhealthy and continue unhealthy habits, you surround yourself with a negative environment and people, then you're just allowing dominance of these lower ill vibrations to take residence over your life, mind, and body. You have to balance your focus. Do not give power to the attacks. It only intensifies them and manifests them more in your life. Take inventory of your thoughts and your emotions and your surroundings and the people you associate with. Know that every object, thought, emotion, job, house, friend, everything has its own frequency. If there's things in your environment that bring you sadness, when you look at them, you may want to create a safe space for yourself and, either put them away or discard them. I can't tell you enough how your environment influences you. So again, what you have free will choice over to in your surroundings to do, you need to make sure that you create a loving, safe, peaceful space. What you can let go of that does not serve your highest good and well-being, you need to release it. And this is another prime time of coming up with that list of what you're releasing for and leaving in this year and not allowing in your 2025. To become a conscious hero, you must set yourself and everything that weighs you down, everything. You got to free yourself of everything that weighs you down and everything that you have free will choice to release and improve for your own well-being. This takes very much, it takes your action and it takes your work. Some of these things, they didn't happen overnight, right? So it really requires your repetition to get a conscious mindset to remove it and say, I can't allow this in my life anymore. It's not healthy for me. And this includes letting go old beliefs, belief systems, what you thought, and which may not be serving your highest good. This also includes some generational inherited baggage that we came in when we were born into, because we know that our mother and our father, they came into things and inherited those. So you know how the Bible speaks of generational curses and such. It really is something that you can proclaim over your life that you're going to break it off of you. You don't have to accept just because, mother and father and your childhood and your family history, that you're going to continue to choose those things. Look at what you're dragging behind you and take inventory of it and make a conscious effort to release it. You can break those generational things off of you. You don't have to choose to carry them anymore. You have the power to release it. Mindsets and how we think, when we have these thoughts, they carry such a high power. So if you're doing inventory on your thoughts, are they more negative or are they more positive? And to counter attacks, you have to counter it with something positive. You need to stop, play some music, get the essential oil, do something healthy for yourself to mitigate the attack. Anything that delays or distracts you from living right now and doing self-care for your body, mind, and soul, it needs to be let go. And I know it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, when you make the conscious effort to release these things that are dragging you down, you will feel so much lighter. And that means that you just created space for blessings and opportunity and for a fresh start. And you're starting the track of reclaiming your life, your divine birthright. You're so worth it. So I've listed a couple of books that I found very beneficial to me. Walking the Tiger, Healing Trauma by PhD Peter Levine. It's very good. And he also discusses some techniques in there about how to ground yourself and when the trauma and those moments kind of bubble up. The Emotion Code, How to Release Your Trapped Emotions for Abundance, Health, Love, and Happiness by Dr. Bradley Nelson. Another good one. DVDs. I can't tell you how many times I watched the little movie Emotion, Lose What Needs to Be Lost to Find What Needs to Be Found. It was so powerful and inspiring to me. I believe now they even have Emotion, the full length free version on YouTube, but I believe you find it by Emotion 2, and that's how it comes up. The Shift is a DVD, and it's also available on YouTube as well. It is a film that Dr. Wayne Dyer filmed. This was before he passed, and it again, such profound information about energy healing and thoughts and beliefs. Because remember, thoughts and beliefs, they create your reality. So when you're thinking those things, they're coming into fruition. So if you're thinking about things that you don't want, then you're giving power for those to manifest. So I have included as a bonus today, this is a self-love technique, and it may seem a little silly, but it really is important for you to embrace and get your self-love and self-worth back. And so what you do for the self-love technique is you stand in front of a mirror. And I know that you've gone through a lot, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard. And I'm standing here like going on 13 years of these attacks. This stuff doesn't happen overnight, but just remember it's there for you when you're ready. Okay? And it's not something silly. It really gets you in tune with your higher self. So stand in front of your mirror and look at yourself staring back at you, and focus in on your eyes and visualize that your heart is opening up as you look at yourself, and recite the following aloud to yourself. Say your name. So I'm gonna go through this. Melissa, I love you. I really, really love you. And it's just that simple acknowledgement to yourself and giving that self-love to yourself, because everything that you've gone through, you're still standing, you're so strong, you're so empowered. Give yourself that love back. Life loves you, but if you don't love yourself, it's hard for life to bring you the good, because you've got a wall up in your heart. You've allowed these attacks to just create this big wall of resistance around you, where you're protecting yourself, but what you're also doing is you've walled yourself up so much that you're not allowing any way for the good to come to you. So just visualize that you are opening your heart center and opening up and being ready and available to receive all life has to offer you. These attacks, don't let them define you. Use them as a stepping stone and a catalyst for your healing journey. Get to the point where you are adoring the marvelous gift and being that you are, that is reflecting back at you. Then life will respond to you. When you are grateful, life will bring you more. So, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. And I just want to take a moment before we get into this next slide. And I just want to pray for each and every one of you. And I ask that God fill your space and the environment where you are right now, soothing and calming your mind and softening and opening your heart to receive the message that was given today. And that God work and reveal to each and every one of you things that you may need to let go, things that you may want to work on, and setting the stage for the new upcoming year. God, I pray that you seed everybody with the gift of hope and resilience and protection, sending the warrior angels over to combat and battle and help navigate the day-to-day that each and every one of us as targeted individuals have to go through. And our healing, thank you, God, for our healing. We recognize those who have succumbed to this harassment and torture. We honor them by becoming stronger and resilient and for healing ourselves. Because when we heal ourselves, we heal and send that vibration out into the world and elevate the consciousness of the world. We heal our ancestors by being able to do the inner healing that they may not have had the opportunity to do while they were here. And God, and each and every one of you, I ask that you pray in unity with me, that the data banks that house the information that has all the torture that has been done upon us, that the information is leaked in the grand exposure around the world of what all we've endured and those that have succumbed before us, that it is leaked out in a profound way in global awareness and shuts down these programs done against us. We thank you, God. We thank you, universe, for ending these programs. We thank you for acknowledging all that we have gone through. And we thank you. And future generations thank us, for we are the light bearers. We are the light bringers. We are the ones entrusted with the knowledge and the tools to help others that are going through this. We are the chosen heroes. Thank you, God. Amen. So, my beloved TIs, my conscious heroes, I would love your feedback. I have a survey on X for those of you who are on X. I would really appreciate if you would vote for your preferred format to see future episodes of The Chosen Heroes, because your feedback really matters to me and I value it. You could also email me at chosen_heroes@proton.me with your preferences. But what I would like to know is, do you prefer the continuing of the live stream on Rumble? Would you just prefer pre-recorded, not live episodes that are available on like YouTube, Rumble, X, or other platforms? Would you prefer a conference call? Would you prefer more shorts and less lengthy episodes? I know I can be kind of long-winded. There's just so much, and I'm so passionate about spreading awareness and assisting in any way I can in your inner healing journey to combat these attacks. I'd also love your feedback on how do you feel about the day and time of this live stream, if I was continue to do live streams. And I would love to know what content you or ideas that you might have for future episodes. And I've listed here on this screen, I'm on X, Rumble, email, a new YouTube channel. I'm still going to be loading up some of the previous episodes there. You can search for Chosen Heroes. I also have a Facebook group that you can look for. It is public. Just search for the Chosen Heroes. And I've listed all of the platforms that Targeted Justice is on as well. Email, website, Substack, Rumble, Locals, YouTube, and X. And LinkedIn. I did not list that one. All right. Let me open up and see if we've got any questions. All right. Hi, Town Crier. Thank you for joining. You joined early. Andrea, thank you. I appreciate your kind words about looking forward to the podcast. Hi, Tracy. I'm going to remove the slide. Blissful Gypsy. Thank you for joining. Yes, V2K words or statements are ignored. Great. It's a time loop built with negative energy. It sure is. Yes, placing the accountability on them, that's the way to go. Absolutely. Sapphire Eyes states she drowns out her V2K. I'm going to start showing the messages. Here we go. She drowns out her V2K with a sound bath of positive words and frequencies. That is exactly the way to combat this. Way to go. Good job. And Blissful Gypsy states she chooses positive words daily that represented to me in a song, scripture, or person. That's awesome. That way to go. Juice, is it Juice? You always catch me at the end. Don't worry. This will be broadcasted on Rumble, the whole episode. It'll also be on Targeted Justice YouTube channel. Also the Chosen Heroes YouTube channel, and I'm also on X, and I post those out as well. Okay, Sapphire Eyes. This is a good one. There's free software on Odyssey to put the sounds and positive recordings together. And her favorite is 174 hertz with peace, love, and healing messages. Way to go. There's so many great tools out there for us to use. Breaking Ground. I appreciate the therapeutic info you're providing, but it shouldn't be couched in a heroic ideology and chosen exceptionalism. This is a targeted program of enslavement, war against mind, body, and spirit. Yes, and I recognize and I respect your thought, but we have to take action against this. And the action that we're taking is building awareness and exposure that these programs exist. But at the same time and instance, we have to take self-care and self-empowerment and reclaim our lives and existence. We cannot be overcome by what these programs are and lose out on our life and our existence. That is not our divine right. And we have to reclaim our power. At the same time that we're exposing these programs by awareness, we've got to keep our fires burning in order to expose them by self-nurturing and self-care and healing. The last thing they want is for us to have our healing journey. Okay? I can't say it enough. These programs thrive on destroying our health and our self-worth. So we have to take our power back. Yes, I know some of these gang stalkers, and they do really things about attacking our pets, and it's so devastating at at, at at what the tactics that these criminals use. It's so sad. YT is asking about the essential oil. Lavender is a very protective. Frankincense and the rose, they're all high vibration. So think if you're putting that essential oil on your energy centers and you're getting the attacks, it's hitting it and amplifying what you have on your body. So just know and trust that with the oils and such, when you use them, you are immediately raising your vibration. I didn't mention it in this episode, but there are some crystals that have very high vibration as well. Some of them, like shungite, Russian shungite, or EMF blocking, onyx, black tourmaline, and rose quartz. You know, because rose oil is the highest, right? Rose quartz and black tourmaline combined together is kind of like that, very protective of negative energies as well. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate Steve Wells, I appreciate your kind comments. Breaking Ground states peppermint and lavender helps nasal passages, very much so. Just like, yes, most definitely. I just love I always do the peppermint oil and the lavender right before bed. Sapphire Eyes says she's going to start using these techniques more. Yes, let us build heaven and earth. Brick by light brick. Yes, we'll break the chains. Yes, we have to stay positive. I know it's easy to get into the negativity with all of these attacks, but just allow yourself to be human and just know that don't spend too much time in the negativity and the pit, because that's them winning. Breaking ground, yes. Power concedes nothing without a demand. TIs can't release this magically. We have to arm ourselves multidimensionally to fight. Yes, this Nazi science. Exactly. It is exactly that. I know. It's not us being unrealistic. It's us reclaiming our power and our divine right and authority, and reclaiming the power that we have over our lives and our health. Yes, breaking ground. Yes, self-love is an advocacy. Absolutely. There can be no love with justice and the struggle for justice. As Dr. King argued, the beloved community is just community. We who believe in freedom must not rest. Yes, we've got to recoup our energy reserves. We've got to create that space for health and energy so that we continue the fight. It's not us excusing or abiding that this injustice is being done against us. It's us keeping our energy and our health and our reserves up to continue the fight. And the fight is global awareness. Absolutely. Any other questions? I really appreciated our time here today. Know that for next week, I am going to be focusing on how to bring in the new year and things that we can do to set the stage up for success for next year. We're going to go over some good tools for that. I also will be releasing a short on navigating the holidays, because for some of us, the holidays at this time of year and the new year, it can be very taxing on us. And I was going to include it in this broadcast, but I think it's very important just to kind of let that set as a short, which will be put out on the channels, Targeted Justice and The Chosen Heroes as well. Just know that even though you might be experiencing some isolation and some loneliness at this time of year, you can choose you and rewrite the story of how you see the holiday by self-love and doing things for yourself on those holidays. So again, I will be posting out a short for those as well. Thank you so much. I love you, each and every one of you. Keep spreading that awareness. If you haven't already, share your story out for the world to see. More and more TIs are coming every single day that I am seeing out on the social media platforms. The greatest strength that we have and the weapon we have is exposing these programs. I love each and every one of you. Have a blessed day.